Hey Saints, devotion for today is going to be taken from the book of Acts chapter 28, and we're going to be reading verses 1 through 6. I'm reading from the New Living Translation. It says, "Once we were safe on shore, we learned that we were on the island of Malta. The people of the island were very kind to us. It was cold and rainy, so they built a fire on the shore to welcome us. As Paul gathered an armful of sticks and was laying them on the fire, a poisonous snake, driven out by the heat, bit him on his hand. The people of the island saw it hanging from his hand and said to each other, 'A murderer, no doubt. Though he escaped the sea, justice will not permit him to live.' But Paul shook off the snake into the fire and was unharmed. The people waited for him to swell up or suddenly drop dead. But when they had waited a long time and saw that he wasn't harmed, they changed their minds and decided he was a god." Now we know this story. This story comes right after Paul was in a ship, like a crazy storm, and was shipwrecked. Previous to that, he was in jail, he was in prison, he was falsely accused. All these things were happening to Paul. So what I'm relating this to is people who feel that they're constantly in a trial, that their life is like built up of just trials. Like sometimes I know you can feel that your life is built up of trials, but there's a purpose for this, okay? There's a purpose for this that I'm going to try to show through. So you just came out of a trial. You just came out of trial. Finally, God made you a promise in that trial and you got out as Paul. But God promised him that you're going to make it to shore. Right? And you got through that trial. You were shipwrecked, yes, but you're on shore, you're living, and now everything seems to be going all right. And it's always in those times when everything seems to be going all right, that's when something happens. And Paul gets bit by a snake, and it's like that. Something else? Wow. But the thing is, what you have to look at is what Paul does in this moment. Paul is bit by a poisonous snake, but Paul shakes it off. The significance of that is that God is trying to get us to a point where when we're in our trials, things are happening to us, that it doesn't overtake us. It gets to a point where these things happen, and you knowing the outcome or who you're going through that trial with, you're able to just shake off that problem. You're able to just shake off that tribulation as Paul. The people were looking at him in astonishment because they couldn't understand, why isn't he not even fazed? But once you get on a level with God where he gets you used to getting through these things, he's trying to bring you to this point where you can just, as Paul, just shake it off. I hope we remember this when we're going through our trials, that God is there just building up our endurance so that when these things come amiss, that we can just, as Paul, shake it off and move forward, knowing that he's there with us, protecting us, and will bring us through. Be blessed today, saints.